Hello, my dear friends of the great Doorman channel. Welcome back to a Christmas holiday today. And sorry, usually, I never really did this for my channel. Going over movies, saying my opinion about them, even though I say it's good. By the way, Merry Christmas to you all. Merry Christmas to you all. But, the reason why you see this right now is because of what I have seen recently today, of the movie I've watched that I mentioned in yesterday's live stream, the Avatar for the Pandora game, Fire and Ash, or From the Ashes, which, by the way, doing very nicely, but also my opinion that I want to bring out to the light about the Avatar, James Cameron's Fire and Ash movie that came out last Friday, almost 1 week ago. 1 week ago. So, for starters, I would like to go over the things that I've seen, what I've researched. Those are here. What was bad about the Avatar Fire and Ash movie? So, I'll go over it. So, instead of length, a recurring complaint that is 3.5 hour runtime. Fair. Repetitive plot, which is fair. I can definitely see that being tiresome. I do agree with that, even though I didn't mind seeing the idea getting destroyed. Weak writing and dialogue, poor like in charisma, and failing to connect emotionally with the audience, making characters hard to care for. That I'll get into in a second, in my opinion. Now the shallowness. Despite individuals, the lore and world building feel shallow, failing to match the emotional weight of quiet moments seen in the way of water. I never thought about that. Emotional disconnect. Some critics found the film prioritizes spectacle over genuine feeling, resulting in powerful visuals but few truly moving scenes. I'm not sure about that one. Continuation tropes. Concerns over the white savior quote unquote narrative and cultural appropriation prevalent in earlier films persist for the viewers, leading to boycott calls. The good things. Spectacular visuals, which is fair. Very good. Bravo at filmmaking, James Cameron's technical skill in directing large-scale action sequences is undeniable. In essence, Finash offers unparalleled visual immersion but falters for many in its bloated narrative, uninspired writing, and failure to deepen the emotional core of the Avatar saga. Now, I've seen the movie twice. Back to back. No joke. And I like to say something about it. Let me go and enlarge my screen, just to cover it. Just, I know I don't have to, but I want to. So, let's see. Let's see. Can I wind it? Let's see, wind it. No. Look like that. And boom. So, to all the people in the world that have seen the movie, and give, I know that I will get hated on this, even though I'm a small YouTuber. I don't doubt it. But I will say this: Avengers Endgame. It was long. I've seen it. I loved it. I loved it to my heart. The ending of the four back-to-back-to-back movies from Avengers, Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Age of Infinity War, Avengers Endgame. People loved it. And yet they complain about a long movie that James Cameron made back-to-back twice, and you complain about that? Despite the plot being bad in this one, you can now complain about a long movie, Avengers Endgame. People loved it. I loved it. Some people may hate it for being long, but dude, the story in there and the long movie and that movie was necessary. And this right here, in my opinion, necessary. You know why? Because James Cameron wanted to have the full, more action, more visuals, but also, in my opinion, more things going on. Yes, the plot is repetitive, but I want to doubt, in my opinion also, that other things in the world, like TV shows and movies, were repetitive. I'm not sure which ones, but I know for sure, after seeing some movies over time in my life, even though I haven't seen many, that there were other things, movies and TV shows that are repetitive. I cannot think of one example right now, and I do understand that some people will be frustrated of this being long. But again, Avengers Endgame was a long movie. People loved it. And now you complain about a long movie? Back to back, Way of Water, and Fire and Ice being long? Dude, if you're the person that complains about that, and yet I don't know if people complain about the Avengers Endgame being long, I might as well get into it in a second. But for now, that's messed up. Number one, in my opinion. And I do get it. You don't like long movies, or rather, not you, I shouldn't say that. People don't like long movies for some of them. For me, I like it. And the reason why, in my opinion, for this, is because, again, it adds more, in my opinion, elements to the story. Not in terms, I would say, how do I say this? I'm trying to think. It adds more elements, more additions to the movie that are extra. Like, for example, a scene, and also, I'm gonna say one spoiler here. Just one. For those of you that have not seen it, I highly suggest you mute the video. So you may not know what it is. And I will give you guys, well, let's see, 30 seconds. 30 seconds. Starting now. Wait, no, hold up, sorry. 30 seconds. I'll give you all the time to mute. Jeez, wrong words. So, I will say the spoiler in a second. 30 seconds. That comes in about 10 seconds now. I will say the spoiler one that I know of. And then, 30 seconds later, y'all can unmute and I will now say it. So, here we go. Spoiler coming now. The one scene, in my opinion, that made it surprising. After two movies later, killing, I think, the daughter, she's the daughter of Ewa. And for some reason, the little dandelion thing that we saw that's flying around, she picked a seed and made Spidey breathe in the air. Made my mind. And that is a little teeny tiny addition, in my opinion, that's completely new. That I never thought would happen. And now, 30 seconds, stopped. For those of you that have muted the video, hopefully, the spoiler you're not heard of. Hopefully. But if you didn't mute it, that's on you. So that's all I'll say. But anyways, regardless, one thing. Long movie, I get it. Avengers Endgame was long. I will get into that in a second. If people hated it for that. Number two, when it mentioned charisma. When it mentioned, let me see. I'll read it again. Sorry. Try to read it again. When it mentioned weak writing and dialogue, in my opinion, I would somewhat disagree. Reason being is this. there were some things in the story that, in my opinion, despite it being a little short, it was quick, even though it was repetitive, for, the the thing, the plot. There are some things in this movie that made it, in my opinion, worth the character stuff. Now, again, I can never see why I didn't even understand if it was weak or not. Every single scene that related to like character stuff, I believed it was good. I could be wrong, but it's totally fine. My opinion, you know. And I might as well get to another spoiler, so I never considered doing spoilers while saying it, but well, not sure. Let's see, sorry. By the way, in my opinion, some scenes in this movie, in my opinion, felt me feel the same way that would happen in the scenes. And I might as well go ahead and get into some spoilers again. So, from here on out, if you don't want to hear spoilers, if you don't want to hear spoilers, then you might as well mute the video. And I'll say, probably still mute the video if you want to. But for those of you that don't want to mute the video, but for those of you that don't want to hear spoilers, you can mute the video. I'll give it a max of 5 minutes. It's a video. For the video to do, you will want. So anyways, here's another scene that I believed was quite the scene. It was a scene whenever Jake almost was tempted to kill Spidey. Because he was literally wanting, and from his experience, he was trying to save a civilization. As we all know. But the fact that Spidey, a human, breathes the air on Pandora, which shouldn't really happen, he was thinking the big way, the big long way, the more logical way of saving the Navi. Kill Spidey. And, oh man. Even though the scene that was leading up to it, which was like 2 or 3 minutes, oh man. It was something. And in my opinion, even though I haven't really seen, well, even though I don't really know much about what will make a movie good, well, geez. Even though the dialogue and the writing can be bad in movies, that doesn't mean, well, geez, trying to say my words here. Jeez, words are hard. Let me go back. Even though the scene where Jake was about to kill Spidey for 30 minutes, lean up to it, it was something. And even though it may not have been the best, it was still, in my opinion, an emotional scene. You know why? Because Spidey decided and chose to stick with the Sully family. He was like part of the family. Qualwich, who is his dad, is his father. Now, in the second movie, what the Sullys don't know is that Spidey saved his father from dying, and that's why he lived in this movie. And I am rather I'm rather curious if James Cameron is ever going to implement that element in the upcoming movies. If he has to do it. But if he does, I think there's gonna be some spice to the little future emotional stuff. By the way, Quaritch is Spidey's real father, even though Quaritch, for his human body, died. He has a thoughts and minds of an Navi. In the movie, Spidey wanted to join the Zullies because he wanted to explore Pandora, just like the scientists, just like them. They wanted to be peaceful with the Navi. They wanted to be with Navi. They didn't want to destroy them, or the culture, or the environment. They wanted to join the environment. They wanted to explore it, see if they could, you know, coexist with Navi. And with Spidey, now that we know, now that we know that Air decided to give him the seed of life of Air, it's possible. Regardless, Jake stopped himself from killing Spidey because he loved him, despite what everything happened, despite what everything happened from beginning to end. In my opinion, there were little elements in the story between Jake and Neytiri saying that, hey, Jake likes Spidey. We shouldn't kill him. Neytiri wanted to kill him because he was human, and humans are bad to Neytiri. But Neytiri married Jake. Despite him being a Navi, he's still a human in Navi form. And there was a story hidden there that kind of connected the dots, in my opinion. And even before Jake was almost about to kill Spidey, Spidey saved his life. Along with another guy, Ian, in the movie. And that right there, in my opinion, is what connected the dots for that little part in the movie. In the end, yes, Spidey lived, all that jazz. And now I start thinking that he wasn't gonna die, because oh my goodness, if he died, it'll make sense. And here's another thing. If Spidey died in the movie, it'll be fair. Because the humans, if they'd been in the air like Spidey did, bad. It's totally fair. But, but, as one of my friends has mentioned, is that if he was to die, if Jake kills Spidey, there'll be a whole lot of things going on. And now, we're not getting into that. Well, actually, I will not get into that. But basically, more stuff will happen to Jake, making him an enemy with our family. I'll keep it at that. By the way, that was emotional. Yes, not the best for some people, but to others, I wouldn't doubt emotional. Because Spidey joined the Solis, Spidey saved his life, and even though it was spread apart for the little twists and turns in the movie, what was happening, it was emotional. Because seeing a character die, which by the way, some characters that I didn't know would die had died. One of them was a friend of, I'll say the girlfriend of Jake's son, Loak. He he got just he died. I forgot his name. But then the mother of the girl that likes Loak, she died. But she bore the baby before she died, and Neytiri helped the girl's mother before she died to have the baby born. I did not expect that. And I would say that by and will definitely have a very huge part for the coming movies. And the reason I say movies is because for me, let's just say I have known that there will be two movies. Two more. Two more. That's all I know about. Let's keep it at that. But, however, here's another thing. For, I would say, the little dialogue that was for the Ash Navi siding with the RDA, but also that Quaritch wanted the Ash people to join the RDA to kill Jake. The dialogue in there, it was something. Now, I will say this also, it would have been very nice if, since I've been thinking about it a little bit, if the battles were in the Ash Navi lands. It could become the next movie. I would not be surprised. Because also, the leader of the Ash Navi still lives. There's that. I'm not saying anything else. So she still lives. Her name is Varong. So she's still out there. So there's that. Like that little separation and stuff, like having Qualwich meeting Varong and the Ash people. Varong telling a little bit about Ella abandoning them. Even though it was short, it was something. You know why? Because for the scene where Qualwich was trying to have the Ash Navi join, give them guns, all that crap. In my opinion, it was a scene of Qualwich having and wanting, and this creates, suspense. Because another thing about the movie is the times where they blacked out the screen for like just a couple of seconds and go back in. It's like suspense, like the little mini climaxes for the movie. That was something else I never thought would happen. By the way, the scene with Qualwich running the Ash Navi to, get the guns, get the rocket launchers, all that crap. It was an emotion of revenge, but also, I would say the emotion of, how do I say this? I cannot think of the word right now that will fit it, but it was an emotional thing. It was fear. Here it is. It was fear, in my opinion, that they got the guns, even though some people may not feel that way, even though they know it's obvious. It will be a scene of fear. Seeing the Ash Navi with guns, because guns are OP. Rocket launchers are Navi, Banshees are OP, and they're more dangerous. It will create I would say, fear, mainly, but also, it'll create a sense of joy also for the enemy. Because as Collard said in the movie, for Vong, as he said, to have an equal, as Vong wanted, that she never had. And Qualwich wanted to be her equal, to gain her trust, to have her literally kill the traitor Jake that he wanted to help with, that he needed help with to kill, and that was mainly it. So there's that. Another thing about the movie, in my opinion, that was a little mini connecting dots, was Loak going through the stress of losing his brother in this second movie. Because Jake still blamed Loak for killing his son, disobeying orders. And the dots were connecting, in my opinion, because the Pakoyatan, the Navi whale looking creature, I would say, in the movie, I forgot his name. I know it's not the P, but he was like a brother to Loak. The animags off a little bit, but later on, they forgave him after seeing that happen to his clan. But the other movie, Loak was wanting to avenge his brother and to carry his legacy by being like his brother, because he felt responsible, despite the dots being a little short in between. They were connecting, because again, brother was lost. There's another battle after the Way of Water in the Navi water camp in the seas. He was wanting to be a good, well, to be a good son to his father. But repetitively, after he found himself like Neteri's father's broken bow, which he later repaired, all that jazz, and over time trying to be better than him. Well, not better than him. Trying to be like his brother. Trying to carry his legacy. And as that's connecting. Later on in the movie, he eventually redeemed himself as a son by one, finding the lost clan, finding the clan of Pakoyatan, the sea whale that was like a brother to Loak, like an exiled, finding him because his clan was all dead but one, which is the leader of the clan. I forgot the name. And then he came on in with the exiled whale, along with his friends, and I would say his girlfriend, the girl he likes, I forgot her name. They came into the little circle meeting of the elders, the big gigantic whales, which, oh my gosh. Oh man, it's so good. The Cooligan. He redeemed himself by saying to the elders that the sky people has killed up one of the clan, for Black clan. And he brought in more help to the ending battle before the Ash people came by. And it changed the tide. Now, final battle, yes, it was repetitive of the first one. And the second one, humans versus Navi. And the Ice and Fire ending battle was like the ending of the Way of Water's battle, but bigger and better. That's how I see it. And I loved it. Even though it's repetitive, I loved it. But that right there, the scene from Loak trying to redeem himself as his brother, when he got to the middle, to where Pork got exiled, and then Loak got blamed by Jake, reminding Loak that his brother died, that since he died, that he disobeyed orders, and if that didn't happen, Jake stopped himself, realized his mistake, and Loak just decided to just go away, saying it's not his fault. And it wasn't. Even though it might have been, it wasn't. And that built a little separation from Jake and his own son, because having a father and son disconnect is emotional. Even though it's just for a teeny tiny bit, it still had that emotional feel. Because a son and father disconnecting, as if they disagree with each other, is representing a sad feeling. For some people. Others, they will find it something else, but mostly sad. Because having that right there will be bad for the family. So there's that right there. And then after that, Liddy in the end, Lorak redeemed himself, and that Jake was proud of him. Him saying that is another thing. Being happy, being prideful, or whatever it is about. That right there, a little emotional thing. Because now, Lorak is forgiven, I would say, since he redeemed himself, because he wanted to prove to his father that he's still a good son that wants to redeem himself, that dislikes what has been wrought to his brother, because he really loved his brother. And that was that. So that's another thing. The elements in this story despite it being different things. In my opinion, the elements of each little thing connected the dots at the end and throughout. So that's another thing. The dialogue, like in charisma, all that jazz. And charisma, I do know what it is. And failing to connect emotionally with the audience. That I disagree with, because there were some things in the story that was emotional, in my opinion. Spider was dying, Jake reminding himself that Spidey is part of the family, that he still loves him, Lorak redeeming himself from beginning to end, trying to prove to his father that he is a son of Soli, that he still wants to be part of the family. And the fourth thing was also, I would say, the emotion of sadness and grief. The death of the girl's mother at the end. Lorak's goes, well, Lorak's girlfriend's mother. Jeez, was hard. Mourning for the loss of a mother brings emotion, because it's grief. But yet, having the relief, because it also represents relief that the baby was able to survive, despite the mother not surviving. That brings relief and joy. But the mother dying, grief and sadness. That's another thing. The movie Fire and Ash, in my opinion, even though people may disagree with me, it brings emotion. Period. Even if they say it brings, even if they say failing to connect, in my opinion, is wrong. Because there were so many things in this movie, even the first movie, Avatar, it brought emotional stuff. It brought emotional connection to the story. Second movie, same thing. And I don't believe that people may realize that. Even though they may do, there are those that don't believe so, which is totally fair. Because of visuals. Visuals in this movie. Astounding. Breathtaking battles. Amazing. I love it. By the way, there is emotion in this movie, in my opinion, period. And then, I'll do one more thing before I end the video. And by the way, this will be only on YouTube, not on Twitch, just to let you know. And I'll have this be a separate playlist. Just in case if there's any movies I want to rant on about that I believe are good, is what is this also? The continuation of tropes. As you mentioned, the quote-unquote white savior. Quote-unquote. Which is prevalent in other films. Which is fair. Well, do I want to do that one? Let me see. Uh, hmm. Hmm. Well, let's go and search up the thing. I'm gonna search up now the Avengers Endgame movie. What? Oh, what was bad about Avengers? Let's see. Endgame movie. So let's see. Let's see. Let's see if I find something. Okay, I found something. Let's see. Okay, I think I found my validating point. Let me see. Whoopsie. Whoops. Let me see. Bloop. Okay, here we go. So, while Massive Hit, criticisms of Avengers Endgame often focus on its inconsistent tone, mixing heavy grief with humor, plot holes, especially concerning time travel rules, rushed pacing in parts, underdeveloped character arcs for some heroes like Thor, and questionable CGI for major characters. With some feeling, the grand finale betrayed established logic and character development from previous films like Infinity War. So, time travel logic. Viewers pointed out contradictions with the established rules of time travel, questioning how bringing back the stone didn't create more paradoxes or alter time significantly. Pacing and tone. The film's shift from a somber grief-filled first act to a comedic second act and explosive finale felt disjointed to some, with heavy emotional moments feeling rushed or undermined. Character arcs. Some felt characters like Thor were due to jokes, flanderized, while the resolution for Captain America's arc and his relationship with Tony Stark felt unsatisfying or logical. Interesting. Underwhelming action and CGI. That's interesting. Despite the massive final battle, some found the action lacking until the end, and criticized the CGI used on characters like Tony Stark and Thor as distracting or poor quality. Fan service versus story. Critics felt the film prioritized fan-pleasing moments, like Captain America wielding Mjolnir, which is very nice, very amazing, over logical storytelling leading to plot holes and narrative inconsistencies. Now, from this right here, nothing mentioned excessive length. And I'm gonna do a research on this, because I know I've seen it before. It was a long movie. How long? Look at that. 3 hours and 2 minutes. 182 minutes. And people are now saying that the Avatar Fire Ash are complaining now of a long movie that was 13 minutes longer than this. Like, dude, you kidding me? Dude, the reason why there are long movies is because they want to make long movies. That's why. So like I say, no complaints so far mentioning complaints about a long movie. Now, I could be wrong that there could be some people saying that they didn't like the movie being long. However, what makes my heart, even though I've said it before, I'm gonna say it again, is people not liking long movies. For those that have seen long movies before and are now complaining about it. Because for those that do, I don't know what to say. I have no idea what to say. Because I will say this. If you don't like a long movie, don't watch it. If you like the movie for what it is, even if it's long, and you're saying they don't like it, that looks bad on you, in my opinion. Opinions are opinions. But sometimes, if you're a person, an individual that ever says that, and you see a long movie, and complaining that you don't like a long movie, you messed up. Because you're lying to yourself for some reason that the long movie's not good. Avengers Endgame, in my opinion, was good. The finale was epic. The everything building up to it was epic. I never really thought about the specifics of it. I really more cared about how the four major movies, back to back to back, of the whole Avengers cast would end epically. Or how it would end. And it ended epically. It was great. People loved it. And Just the fact that people complain about Avatar Fire and Ash being long is stupid. Even though I get it, if any of them watched this movie and now complain nowadays about longer movies, like, what are you doing? You're literally making James Cameron movie, if for any reason in the future they be long, bad for one of those reasons. And in my case, I don't mind that, because I'm willing to watch a long movie to see its end. I am willing to see this movie until its end when it is done. That's my opinion. So there's a proof, so far, right here, just from the base page, that this, right here, but also that this has nothing to do with complaints about a long movie. That's the thing. So for those of you people out there that has ever said what I just said earlier, you know that's on you. You know that. But for those that have seen both this movie and the one Avatar Fire and Ash and are willing to still watch it to the end, thumbs up. Thumbs up. Says that. Okay. And now enough of that blandering. That is my little comment on this movie, my standing on it, and what, in my opinion, made the movie very good. Once again, people will disagree. I'm already expecting that. Even if my channel is small, you never know what's gonna happen. You never know. So either way, that's my intake on this movie that I've seen back to back, and there's a chance that I might see it a third time next week. Maybe not. We'll see. But as my input on the movie, Fire and Ash, and before I continue, I've also seen some little parts of Angry Joe's angry review of the movie, Avatar Fire and Ash. I see the plus of it, and I do agree that it was visually stunning, 10 out of 10. I do agree. And I will say the plot, it was weak, a little bit. I do understand why. So I do understand why he may not like it, or why, in his opinion, that wasn't great. It was repetitive, which is fair. The repetitive plot, which is totally fair. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're gonna do it for the future movies. I wouldn't be surprised. We'll see. Well, if it changes though, that'll be something. So there's that too. So Angry Joe, if you're watching this, just do know that I do agree with the repetitive storytelling being, that visually stunning. I totally agree with. And I'm hoping that they may hopefully change the little, you know, the plots a little bit in the future. I'm not sure how they're gonna do it, but hopefully they will. So that's that too. Overall, once again, one final time, this is my intake, my input, and my opinion on the movie Avatar Fire and Ash. A fantastic movie in my opinion, despite the story being repetitive, despite the plot being repetitive, despite even though it may still lack some emotion, it still has emotion. And to top it all off, it has some little emotional stuff in it that made it worth watching. Even if it was separate, it still, in my opinion, connected the dots. From dot to dot, connected the dots of that movie. This is your man Doman here. I hope you've enjoyed my little rant and thoughts and input of what I have said. And I hope that you guys see the same way as I do. If not, it's totally fine. Opinions are opinions. And until then, Merry Christmas to you all. Despite this video not being really Christmassy to some, or rather, I guess to all, because it's not really Christmassy, it's rather like a rant. I still hope you guys still have a Merry Christmas. And I'll say this though, the one thing that this movie, I would say, reminds ourselves about is this. Family is our fortress. As James Sully mentioned, or Jake Sully mentioned to Netiri in one scene, our family is our fortress, as he quotes. For the character Jake Sully, Sam Worthington, I would say that right there. Our family is our fortress, relating to Christmas. Our families are our fortresses. And that is no quote. Our family is our fortress, as Sam Worthington mentioned in this movie, as a Fire Nash, and in all the families being our fortresses. Family is important. That's one message I would say the movie reminds us about. Family. So definitely spend time with your families. Well, let me say this. Well, yeah, I'll continue. Always spend time with your families. Even though for me, I don't really do that much because I do my own thing. Family is important, no matter what. And if you can, spend time with them. I will see you around. Good night, and I'll see you back on Avatar: Frontiers of Pandora. Peace.